Alright folks, my name is John Stona. I'm on the APAC marketing team for AdWords. In a prior life, I was one of the global marketing leads for Google Website Optimiser. This is a product I'm going to talk a little bit about with you guys today. One quick thing before I get started. Don't be shy. We've been all friends here for the past, 4 hours. So I am going to ask you for your opinion on a couple of slides. So just shout it out, don't be shy. So what exactly are we going to talk about today? We spent a lot of time today talking about driving qualified traffic to your site, really understanding your traffic, measuring your traffic, learning how your traffic interacts with your site. But that's only a piece of the puzzle, as many folks have mentioned. As Nadia mentioned, as Steph mentioned, that's only a small piece of the puzzle. What you really have to focus on also is what happens once they get to your site. That's equally as important. So we're going to talk about how to optimize your landing pages, how to make sure they're in tip-top shape. We're going to talk about what Google does to make this easy for you, what Google does to make this free for you. And we're also going to go over some common tips, some common questions as well. So let's just dive right in. Pre-click versus post-click optimization. Now, for a long time, the industry has been virtually obsessed with pre-click optimization. Right here. So SEM, SEO, this is anything you do to drive people to your site. Now, optimizing bids, tweaking campaigns, whole 9 yards. Post-click, anything you do after they hit your site. So optimizing landing pages, optimizing content. But the industry is starting to catch up. Things are starting to change. You know, in North America, EMEA in particular, you go to any major conference, a lot of the time is spent these days talking on post-click optimization. And the reason is pretty simple. It's not rocket science, right? If you devote all your time to pre-click, a disproportionate amount of time to pre-click, then you're driving all the people to your site. You can drive all of Singapore to your site, and they bounce. You make nothing. You might as well have just taken that money and gone to Hawaii. You'd have gotten the same end result. Also, I mean, if you take you'd have had a good time, but if you take a step back, and you really think about this from a very rational perspective. Ad creative. You optimize your ad creative, people see it for maybe 3 seconds. It takes up 3% of the person's screen, and they've shown no commitment to your particular business. They've shown commitment to their search, but they haven't shown any commitment to your business yet. Whereas landing pages, these are the people you're going to target. They click your ad, they look at your page maybe for 10, 20 seconds, you have 100% of their attention. They're saying, I was interested in what you had to sell. What you have to sell, you need to convince me. And so this is the low-hanging fruit. Landing pages right here. So that was all very philosophical, very theoretical. So let's actually take a look at the numbers. So let's say your boss walks in one day and he says, Tom, what I want you to do is I want you to raise online sales by 50%. Now, there are multiple strategies. You can do the get fired in 30 seconds strategy, which is do nothing. Bad strategy, don't recommend it. You can focus exclusively on pre-click, which is, let's say you drive 50% more traffic to your site. So let's say you tweak your bids, you raise your spend 50%, right? Keep your conversion rate the same for your landing page. And so 1.5 increase in spend, 1.5 increase in sales. Straightforward. That doesn't work for you. Option 3, which is you focus exclusively on post-click optimization, right? And that is, you say you don't spend any more money, but you really, really emphasize increasing your conversion rate by 50%, from 2% to 3%. Same result on sales, 1.5 increase. Now, if you want to be promoted, what you'll probably end up doing is both. Pre-click and post-click work hand in hand. It's been too long where people just focus on pre-click and not enough on post-click. If you do both, if you drive 50% more traffic to your site and convert that increased traffic 50% higher, then the combined effect costs the same as the second option, but you get a 2.3 increase in sales instead. And that's pretty cool. There are not that many other ways you can do that, right? So then, how actually do you decide what content to show? This is a typical boardroom situation. It happens at most companies where you sit around a conference room and they're very distinct personalities. There's the hippo, which is the highest paid person in the room, usually director of marketing. And usually this person's opinion goes. Like, he sits in a comfortable chair, the $700 chair that never goes on sale. And basically he'll say, I went to INSEAD, I went to Harvard Business School. Why don't you stick some bullets on the page, matrix, tell the customers exactly what they want. And then that person tends to clash with a creative genius. He's on his MacBook Pro, he has Adobe Illustrator, every product known to man, right? And he'll say, wait. Bullet points, matrix, cannot, not working. But, their opinions matter, but really, who you want to focus on is your customers. What they tell you is what matters, and they will speak to you. They'll speak to you about either going forward, making a purchase, or they'll hit the back button, and they'll say, I don't like what you showed me. At the end of the day, your customers pay your paycheck. Your boss just signs it. That's important to know. Your customers pay your paycheck, your boss just signs it. So then, how exactly do you try and optimize your content? In the past, it was expensive. You had to learn complex math, stats. If you wanted to do landing page testing, maybe hire a consultant. Google actually allows you to do this nowadays for free, quickly and very easily. A product called Website Optimiser. So what it does, traffic hits your site. Let's say you have different versions of your site you want to test. So here, free shipping, nice mountain image. Then our bestseller, talking about stock right here. And so you're actually not sure which one's going to win. Some people might like this one. Some people might say, I don't know, I think this one's better. The point is you should be using science and technology to decide what actually works better and listening to your customers. So Website Optimiser splits the traffic, and it will do the math, and it will tell you which one actually resulted in higher sales. Now, a conversion here doesn't actually have to be a sale. You have the flexibility. Conversion can be a download, it can be a click, it can even be someone spending a certain amount of time on your site. You have the flexibility to decide what you're optimizing for. So in this case, 25% of the people added this to their cart, so that was a winning combo. The other good thing about Website Optimiser is that, again, no math is required. No math is required. If you can read a traffic light in Singapore, you can read a Website Optimiser report. It simplifies everything for you. So it'll actually show you, and this was assuming I was running, say, 15 different versions of a page. It'll tell you, which is actually, it'll tell you the original, how it performs, so you see the raw data right here. It'll also tell you what are the winning combinations. So these are the combinations in green right here, with 95% statistical significance, are likely to outperform your original. So these are the combinations that you want to implement because they're going to make you more money. And again, Website Optimiser does all the math for you. It just tells you these bars. It also tells you what doesn't work. Maybe combination 15, maybe version 15 talk about free shipping. Maybe no one really cared about free shipping. Maybe all your clients are local. So then in the future, maybe I shouldn't have content about free shipping. So, that's all fine and dandy, but how exactly do you get started? So I'm going to talk about a very simple framework that's going to let you get started very, very quickly. Start off by going to your top landing page report. I think Vinny talked about this earlier. Look for the highest traffic pages with the highest bounce rate. These are starving your profit. Lots of people are hitting, lots of people are leaving. Page that needs some attention. Another area you're going to need to look at your goal funnels. This is where you can actually see where people aren't responding to what you have to say. This example, 40,000 people are interested. They hit your page. They're saying, talk to me, give me something that I want. 75% of them leave. 75% of them were unsatisfied with your content. Of those that actually did make it through, still listening, over 50% leave, because again, they're not interested. These are the pages that you have to optimize. You have to make sure that they're performing in tip-top shape. So once you've identified your pages, get started with Website Optimiser. Easier than you think. If you have an AdWords account, right here, Website Optimizer next to conversion tracking. Or you can go to google.com/Website Optimizer, and sign up with any Google account. It can be the one you use for Gmail, for AdWords, you name it. Personally, I prefer going here because we have some success stories, some tips and tricks. So check this out. Once you're in the Website Optimizer interface, it's going to ask you, would you like to do an A/B test or a multivariate test? Two very different tests, but they're actually equally as important. So A/B, simplest way to start testing. It's if you want to compare one design versus another design. Maybe image on left, image on right. Works with high traffic, low traffic, you name it. Multivariate, a bit more complex, but still not very difficult. And this is for more higher traffic pages. And this is more for if you have one page, and instead of testing different designs and different layouts, you kind of isolate your page into different key sections. So maybe the image, the headline, the call to action. And then you're basically swapping out different images, different calls to action. And so it's not testing designs per se, it's testing different variations of particular sections on the page. So let's say A/B split. I mentioned before, you can launch Website Optimizer tests fairly quickly. So again, ideal for first-time testers, low traffic, high traffic, you name it. And so when you're in the interface to do an A/B test, you can launch one in under 5 minutes if you have alternate content. So all you got to do, start off, name your experiment. No one will ever see this name. This is just for you. So let's say Underlay Bytes landing page test. Then I put in the address of my existing page. So this is my landing page /index. Then I put in the address of the page I'm testing against. So maybe I code index B. Then I can keep adding variations as I see fit. Then I identify the conversion page. So for me, I want folks, I really care about them placing an order. So for me, the conversion page is an order place page. And again, the conversion does not have to be a page. It can be an action. It can be someone spending a certain amount of time on your site. You have the flexibility. You have the control to do that. Next, step 2. You are going to have to stick some JavaScript on your page. Nothing complex. If you can copy and paste, you're good to go. For those of you that have difficulty copying and pasting, which I really hope is a very small portion, you can actually, or if you don't have access to your source code, there's an option that you can get the instructions sent to your webmaster. But assuming you want to do this yourself, select this option, continue. The Website Optimizer is going to tell you exactly where on your page to copy and paste the code. It's going to say paste 1 at the top, paste a couple at the bottom, paste 1 on the conversion page. That's all the technicality involved. Then once that's all set up, take a look at your experiment right here. Make sure everything's in order. Or if you want to come back later, you can save progress, finish later. If everything's good to go, start your experiment in no time. So that can take you literally 4 minutes, right? And when you start your experiment, when someone hits onlaybytes.com, when they type in this default URL, half the time your traffic will see the original, and in this case, half the time your traffic will see the alternate version. Common question. So I go there today, and I see the top one. I go there tomorrow, do I also see the top one? Yes, you do. We drop a 2-year cookie on your system, so that if I come today, I'll see the same thing tomorrow. And that only counts it only counts unique visitors, so that's the other plus. And you get the same report as before, so you can see how your original stacks up to the different versions you're running. Case study. This is an audience participation form. This is from one of our clients, one of our partners in Canada, Wider Funnel. They worked with a company called Safe Software. Safe Software, this page was performing terribly. The main goal of this page is to download their software right here. Now there are many hypotheses why this page is terrible. Maybe too much text. Maybe call to action, not clear. Who knows? So what they did was they worked with Safe Software to develop 2 alternate versions to test. So we have this one right here, a very clean page. Then we have this one right here with who I like to call Fabio, right here, customer, and some supporting bullets right here. So they ran the test, and I want to know, who thinks the original one? Who thinks this one won? Nobody. Okay, perfect. You're right. This is terrible. They win. Who thinks the cleaner one? Option 1. We got 6 people. All right. We got 8 people. Keeps growing. Very nice. So, anyway, why do you think this one won? This is an audience participation section. Just shout it out. Bigger action button. Okay. And then, so why do you think the remaining people? You know, somebody. Why do you think version 2 won? Well, exactly. That's what you think, because if you read lots of marketing books, they'll tell you, put a very attractive person on your site, have an image, have some supporting bullet points right here. That's best practices, right? But what ended up happening is the one we got Fabio won. Maybe he wasn't attractive enough. I don't know. The fact is, this one won against best practices. So you can't jam your site into best practices. You always need to test what's right for your site. And that led to a 15% increase in conversion rate. Huge to the bottom line. Next example from a partner in Philadelphia. This company wanted to add some more elements to their landing page. They thought, why don't we just add some navigation right here, add some more information right here. It was supposed to be a clear winner. Everyone thought, can't hurt. They tested it though, and they found that these improvements actually cut sales in half. Whenever you're going to make major changes, make sure you test them before you do so. Don't take anything for granted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go over multivariate. I'm not going to go into anything technical, but just so you guys are clear on the difference. Again, multivariate is if you have particular sections on your page. So let's say I'm not sure on my landing page, does this image work, this one, I don't know. Test them all. Similarly, maybe the headline. Do I use this headline, that headline? 2 different headlines to choose from, 3 different images, 2 times 3, 6 possible combinations. Test them all. Unlike the A/B, you're actually not coding multiple pages. You're not coding index A, index B, index C. You actually input your different versions directly in the Website Optimizer interface. Saves time. You get the same analysis we got before, but you also get this additional report. Page section report tells you of each section you're testing on your page. So maybe this is the image, headline, call to action. What actually moved the needle? So maybe change the image, didn't really do anything. 0 out of 5. Which changes to the call to action, people actually cared about. That strong influence conversion. Again, that's the type of data you need when you're designing your site. You understand where people are looking, what they're responding to. So just some common tips. Test a small number of variations. Sometimes people see this product and they go wild. They're like, you know what? I'm going to test 1,000 different combinations. That will take you 10,000 years. So don't do that. Start small. The rule of thumb is roughly 100 conversions per combination. So if you get, 200, if a conversion for you is a sale, and you get around 200 sales, and say you get around 200 sales on average per week, just test 2 combinations. Next, test big changes. If you can't see the difference between the combinations in around 8 seconds, it's not worth testing. I've had people come up to me and say, we just ran this awesome test, but the results were terrible. And I was like, what did you test? And they said, well, we tried to take away the comma, and we replaced it with a period. I'm like, well, I can see why you didn't get good results. So really, really be bold. Test big things. If you have a site that's very specialized, so you sell very expensive software and you don't have a lot of conversions, consider setting the conversion to be something earlier in the funnel. So maybe instead of a conversion being a sale, you set it to someone spending a set amount of time on your site. And then, very importantly, don't jump to conclusions. Less than 2 weeks is not good. People get excited when they see the green or the yellow. Wait the 2 weeks. When we test at Google, we always wait 2 weeks. No exceptions. A couple final things. Some pages are better than others to test. Don't waste your time on pages that don't need it. So pages that have been previously optimized, pages that have low traffic. Spend time on pages where it matters. Your high traffic pages with known content problems. So your landing pages, your funnel pages, your home pages. And just to wrap up some common FAQs. Will my quality score drop? Your quality score is unaffected by Website Optimizer. Don't worry about that. How many variations should you test? Start off small, 2 or 3. Will my organic page rank be affected? Very common question. Absolutely not. The technical people. Website Optimizer uses JavaScript. Our spiders look at HTML. No effect whatsoever. And then, looks easy. Can big companies use this, or is it just for SMBs? Big companies can use this. We have a suite of Fortune 500 companies using this. This is what we use at Google. Picasa uses it. They tested this version against this version. This was a default version everybody liked. Nice image, or I don't know, maybe nice image, who knows. Set free. This version led to a 30% increase in downloads. One test, 30% increase in downloads. Gmail uses this as well. So if your site gets less hits a day than Gmail, we can handle the traffic, no worries. And then also google.com/website optimizer. Lots of valuable resources. Archived webinars, blogs, you name it, check out the site. And then finally, some things to do this week. Evaluate your PPC landing page, look in your geo reports, find pages to test. Then set up a simple A/B test. Nothing too complicated. And then make it fun. Challenge your boss to submit variations, and then challenge an intern, summer intern, to submit variations. Don't tell them you're going to test them against each other. Run the test, take a little office pool, and then at the end of 2 weeks, you'll find a couple of things. You'll find A, you'll understand more about your site. You'll know what works, what doesn't work. And B, you'll probably find your boss is a little bit overpaid. Because sometimes the intern wins, you know? So lastly, cycle of performance marketing. Continuous. This is what today's been about. Drive traffic, monitor, and optimize. As Barbara said, this is a continuous process. You can't do one without the other. You can't do pre-click without post-click. It's like blasphemy. You need to do both, and you need to do them continuously. Especially in today's economic climate, you need to understand what works on your site, what doesn't work. And you need to minimize what doesn't and maximize what does. So with that said, thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate it. And I will hand it back over to Vinny.